Now, DePoto has traded away Luis Gahara, Nick Neidert, Brian Yarbrough, Brandon Miller, Zach Little, Juan DePaula, and Freddie Peralta. I mean, the cupboard is bare. And this, Jerry DePoto, he's a maniac. He's made 64 trades in the past 27 months. I mean, he's insane. He's like Neil Gurriel in fantasy baseball. I mean, Neil Gurriel moves on an average of 5 players a week on his fantasy teams. I mean, I'm not even kidding you. From day 1 to day 162, Neil Gurriel out of Yonkers, New York. I mean, he is like the George Steinbrenner of our fantasy page. And maybe it's the fact that they haven't made the playoffs since 2001 that DePoto has just, he's basically throwing everything into deals. 64 trades in the last 27 months. They went hard on Ohtani. And Ohtani signed with the rival Anaheim Angels out of Los Angeles, South Carolina, South California, San Diego. So that when that well dried up, DePoto has made it an effort to go after these bullpen arms. In particular, Juan Nicasio. Now, when I look at that rotation, James Paxton, I mean, he's got it all. Plus intangibles. He looks like an ace. He smells like an ace. He could be an ace if he stays healthy. Last year was kind of a breakout season for him, but he still only started 24 games. And even that is his career high. Can Paxton stay healthy? That remains the question that has dogged him in his short career. It's time to galvanize, baby. Last year he went 12-5, 2.98 ERA, 136 innings pitched, 157 strikeouts, and a 110 whip. He averaged 10.3 strikeouts per every 9 innings. Kingfish, Felix Hernandez, your number 2 pitcher. Now, he ain't the lockdown, shut down, filthy arm that he used to be. But he's still got that high baseball IQ, and he's still going to keep you in games, and he's still going to find ways to win, even when he doesn't have his best stuff. Now, Mike Link, you picked him up in a deal with St. Louis last year. He looked good in 32 innings pitched. Erasmo Ramirez, you got him in a trade with Tampa Bay Rays. He had 11 starts. You got to think both of those guys are going to factor into the rotation. And you still have youngsters Marco Gonzalez and Andrew Moore waiting in the wings. Now, you asked me realistically what pitchers could I see them going after. 3 pitchers I could realistically see the Seattle Mariners going after. And having a good chance of getting for a good price. Jason Vargas from Kansas City is a silent southpaw assassin. Then there's Chris Tillman. He could actually come back home for 1-year pillow contract, and he should be motivated. And I already told you, Jeremy Hellickson. His bread and butter is his changeup, and he needs to find it. And he can be a very reliable pitcher if he ever finds that changeup and gets back in that groove. There's a couple of things going on with Seattle, and for my boy Robbie Mack in my hometown of Welland, Maryland, I'm going to cover them a little more in the next couple weeks. You got 29-year-old D. Gordon in center field, Mitch Haniger and Ben Gamble in the corners, Cano, Cruz. Cano's 35, Cruz is 37. You got your Kyle Lewis. He seems to be your big-time prospect. He looks like he's going to be ready to play. So it was good to hear from you, Robbie. I haven't heard from you in years, and I'm glad you're listening to the Jake Robinson Sports Experience. And I promise. Now, look, everybody, Let's Talk Baseball Room. This is our resident Mariners fan, and I'm going to make sure that I get some more Mariners talk to you before the season starts, brother. Good question. Thank you. Okay, let's see what else is in this bag. Okay. Danny Nauer out of Towson, Maryland. Who was Rusty Kuntz? Sounds like it should have been my ex-girlfriend's name. I have his baseball card, and a lot of times my friends and I just look at it and laugh. Who is Rusty Kuntz? That's a good question there, Danny Nauer. Rusty Kuntz. What a funny name. Look, Rusty Kuntz was an outfielder. He played for the Pale Hosers, the Twinkies, and the Tigers between 1979 and 1985. He never played more than 84 games in his 7-year career. And while it was pretty much lackluster, utility guy, he did have a game-winning RBI in the 1984 World Series for the Detroit Tigers in the World Series clinching game. He had the game-winning home run, or game-winning RBI, and it was a sac fly to second base. So that's what you're dealing with there as a player. Now, since 1987, Rusty Kuntz has been a coach on the major league level for the Astros, the M's, Marlins, Braves, Buccos, and right now he works on the Kansas City Royals staff. He was part of that World Champion 2015 team, and he is currently their first base coach. The manager, Ned Yost, has repeatedly said on many occasions that Rusty Kuntz is the best first base coach in all of baseball. So there you go. That's Rusty Kuntz. That's what he does. He's a first base coach for the Kansas City Royals. He used to play for the Tigers, Twins, and Mariners. I'm sorry, Tigers, Twins, and White Sox. And now he's the first base coach for the Kansas City Royals. And look, I like that. I'd like to put my balls in Rusty Kuntz's hands and maybe have, sign them. I'd love to have, some kind of Rusty Kuntz memorabilia, and I just put it on the mantle here. A signed Rusty Kuntz. You know what I mean? Or maybe Rusty Kuntz can sign my balls, and then I'll put the balls on the mantle. You know what I mean? Just to have something to look at all the time. So there you go, Danny Nauer out of Timonium, Towson, Maryland. Michael Dietz out of Peoria, Illinois. What 3 managers do you see on the hot seat? Well, that's a good question. And I think we probably all kind of agree on a lot of these names. I think at the top of that list is Mike Matheny of the Cardinals. I think he is in danger. And if the Cardinals do not compete this year, if the Cardinals do not make the playoffs this year, that ain't gonna fly in St. Louis. This is a guy that took over for Tony La Russa in 2012. And he went to the playoffs right off the bat. Right off the bat. And the last 2 years have been, they've been a struggle. The Cubs have taken over that Central, and they've pretty much let everybody in the Central know that you're our bitches, and we expect our drawers to be washed and starched. And the Cardinals have become little bitches to the Cubs. I mean, they have. I don't know how else to put it delicately. And Mike Matheny is at the root of all of this. And this has got to be, something that's concerning not only the Cardinals, but also Cardinals management. He went 88-74 in 2012. You know, his tactical chops are always questioned by the fans and the management. 3 years in a row, the Cards went first. 2016 went to the, they came in second to the eventual world champion Chicago Cubs. And last year they came in at third at 83-79. You know, like I said, back-to-back missed playoffs, that's just not going to fly in St. Louis. He put many of his minor league coaches in a position to fix slumping players. Randall Grichuk, Steven Piscotty, Adams Diaz. And there's been, like, in-house fighting. Colton Wong, Yadier Molina have been some of the most outspoken on... Well, look, I don't think they're fans of Mike Matheny, to be honest with you. They've come out in the press and they've come out and pretty much proclaimed their disdain with them. So I look at Mike Matheny, and I think Mike Matheny is in trouble. And the Cardinals better get that bullpen together, and they better trade for Manny Machado. Or Mike Matheny's not safe. The second manager I'm looking at is Clint Hurdle. And look, we all know. Now, Clint Hurdle is a polarizing person when it comes to Pirates fans. There are many that are like, look, man, without him, we might still be stuck in the Stone Ages. And there's another side of the coin that says, with him, you're going right back to those Stone Ages. So, he's a very polarizing guy, and I think that he is definitely on the hot seat. He's 7 years at the helm. And, you know, a lot of people are wondering if his message hasn't turned stale in the clubhouse. His lineup creations, his in-game strategies, as well as the inability to field a major league full-time shortstop in his tenure, all of these things are coming into question. He's getting criticism to being loyal to guys like Tony Watson, Kutch, what was that shortstop that couldn't hit back in the day? Clint Barmas. When all these guys are struggling, you know, Hurdle is right there smooching their asses. Instead of putting a foot up the ass, he's smooching. Now, I'm going to give it to him. He's been successful in changing the culture of the Pirates' baseball landscape. And he did that in Colorado as well. But veterans like Troy Tulowitzki, they chafed under his leadership in Colorado. And he wore out his welcome there, too. And one has to wonder if that's not the case now in Pittsburgh. He's got young talent at Tyon, Glasnow, Josh Bell, Austin Meadows. Austin Meadows is on the way. And I'm telling you, this season right here is going to make or break Clint Hurdle. And as for my third person, I'm going to say Mike Sosa. Baseball's longest tenured manager with one team. I think he's the longest tenured manager, period. But, yeah, I think he's on the hot seat. And look, 19 years has been a hell of a run. But he's failed to make the playoffs 6 out of the last 7 seasons. And at some point, Artie Moreno's got to ask, you know, why are we not getting to the World Series in 6 out of the last 7 innings, or 6 out of the last 7 seasons when I'm spending good money? They've gone out this year. They've gotten Ohtani, re-signed Jason Upton. Zach Kozart, Ian Kinsler. So